Boys, we have a massive update that just came to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. If I had to take a guess, I think this is what was going to happen in July, but they didn't want to overshadow Worlds, or they didn't want to change the meta before Worlds started, so they just delayed these updates, because this is literally the day after Worlds ended that this stuff released. And normally, even though we skip a box in July, they do give us a selection. And now the selection has come out in the beginning of this month instead. So I think this was all just kind of delayed because of Worlds. And it's finally here. Konami, don't do that again. That was terrible. Don't do that. That was a long drought. No one wants that. So this is going to be, I took a little bit of look at the extra deck cards. I haven't looked at the ban list yet. The ban list, as always, will be a first-time reaction. And then the selection and the new structure that came out, as you can see if you scroll up here. I looked at the cards just to kind of get an idea of what the cards are and give you my opinions on the cards being released. So let's first get into the ban list. We have both a ban list and a skill change. So let's go into the skill rebalance. Ooh, we've got some changes. This is going to be interesting. Salamander and Phoenix, I actually just hit Cog with that skill. So let's see. Updated skills. Salamander and Phoenix. You can normal summoner set Immortal Phoenix Gearfried and Phoenix Gearfried with one less tribute during this duel. So they're going to include Immortal Phoenix Gearfried as well. I think he requires 2 tributes, and they want you to do 1 tribute for him. The following effects can be used once per duel. By revealing 1 Immortal Phoenix from your hand, set 1 Salamandra, and send 1 Legendary Swordsman from outside your deck to the grave. This skill can be used applied begin the duel, excluding the extra deck contains at least 10 Fire Warrior monsters. So yeah, they're just letting, putting in the, giving it a slight buff here, letting you tribute summon your Immortal Phoenix. It's an interesting slight buff. I actually just hit King of Games with a deck that used this skill, so I'm trying to rack my brain, but I don't think I was ever in a situation where I wanted to tribute summon my Immortal Phoenix, and I had to. I just was never in that situation. It's very easy to summon this guy. The skill lets you summon at least 2 of this guy, unless they Cosmic your Salamander or something. And then as long as you're playing the right deck, you're always going to have an equip monster to send away. And if you're in a situation where you don't have an equipped monster, you probably don't have monsters in the field. I guess this would help a little bit if I bricked, but even then I'd use the skill right away and have 2 summons of this guy. So yeah, I don't know if this is really that useful, if I'm being honest. Maybe in a different version of the deck, but it's whatever. I don't think that's going to really change anything. Relinquish Puppet finally getting a change. Let's see. Send 1 level 8 Gimmick Puppet monster from your hand or deck to the grave. Then play a Gimmick Puppet Destroy from outside your deck. The skill can only use duel with no extra deck cost, at least containing at least 1 monster and no monsters other than Gimmick Puppets. Oh, interesting. Let's see. So yeah, they just changed it to Dark Xyz monsters rather than Dark Number monsters. This is interesting. There was a long spree there where they kept buffing Gimmick Puppet. So I do think this needed to happen. And Gimmick Puppets could go into quite a few things, but numbers were limiting them. So this could be interesting. You may see Gimmick Puppets actually do something with this. I'm gonna keep my eye on Gimmick Puppet, because that deck was always on the cusp. If you read some of those cards, and I mean this skill alone is already powerful, but some of the cards that Gimmick Puppet has are very, very strong. So now that they can get any Dark Xyz monster, that opens up quite a few more possibilities for them. So keep your eye on Gimmick Puppets for sure. And there it is, Clear Wing Acceleration. Literally everyone at Worlds brought Yugioh, so makes sense. Each of the following effects can be used once per duel. You cannot normal summon or special summon any monsters except Synchro monsters or Wind, Dragon type, Machine type monsters. During the duel, you activate this skill. If you control Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, play 1 Speedroid Red Eye dice from your deck or graveyard to the field. Return 1 card from your hand to the deck and send 1 Speedroid Eye dice or Synchro monster to your graveyard from your deck to your field. If you send a Synchro monster to the graveyard, play 1 Clear Wing Synchro Dragon from your grave to your field. That monster gains attack equal to the monster times 200. Did they just get rid? Oh my god, they just straight up got rid of the Foolish Burial effect. It's not even here anymore. Oh my goodness. And you have to return a card now. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Yeah, send a speed word I dice or synchro monster from your graveyard to the deck, from your deck or field. So you can just send it to the graveyard. So I guess they got rid of the Foolish effect, but you can still technically send this specific card, and then you just have to have like a Duke effect or something. But you can't send anything else but the red-eye dice. That is an interesting way to nerf it. That is a super interesting way to nerf it, actually. Because now you have to have like a, like if you're sending it to the graveyard, you have to get like a Duke or something to summon it, right? This will be an interesting little change. I wonder if this is enough to really stop them from being a competitive deck. The returning one card is pretty bad, though. Losing material. This reminds me of when Harpy Ladies got nerfed, and people were like, oh no, this isn't going to be enough. And then it ended up being enough. So this will be a super interesting change. Very interesting way for them to change this skill. Keep an eye on this. If I had to guess, I don't think Synchro Dragon is gone. I don't think it's like the best deck anymore, but I don't think it's going to go away just because of this change. And that's it. That is all the skill changes. So overall, pretty interesting. Relinquish Puppet, Clearwing, very, very huge changes. Salamander Phoenix is kind of whatever. Take it as someone who's just hit Cog with this. It's kind of whatever. Let's get into the card changes. Oh my goodness, we're already hitting it up real strong, huh? Going in, we're going to limit one, the Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. This card will be harder, given harder limitations, so it cannot be played alongside multiple copies of limit ones. We'll get into all of it. Let's get into all the cards, and then we'll see what's up. Mech Knight Blue Sky, interesting. Due to being able to use this card with other limit 3, such as Mech Knight related cards, this card's now limit 2. So they're changing some limits in Mech Knights. Maybe they're going to bring them back a little bit. Speedroid's also getting the Piper limit to 2. Barfa is being moved to limit 2s to ease the flexibility of deck building. Orcus Nightmare is at 2. Yeah, okay. They want to kill the Orcus, huh? Mech Knight Indigo Eclipse is at 2. So you want to play one Blue Sky, one Eclipse. Interesting. Limit 3 for Horror. Oh my goodness. It is getting harder and harder to play Orcus. It might be it for Orcus, boys. Let's see. Dark Contract with the Gate. Due to the limit lift for Savant Kepler, this card will now be limited. Oh, they're unlimiting Savant Kepler. Interesting. This card will be limited to just high conceal Orcus decks, as well as some mini monsters in one turn. Yeah, you're telling me. And now Trent, this went from 1 to 3. I think that's good. This card at 1 made no sense. Why is Tamer Elder still limit 3? This card should be unlimited. Ritual Beast is dog shit, brother. What the hell is this? Magician's Navigation is no longer on the list. I think that's kind of irrelevant, though. I think with the skill, it's better to play Dark Magician with the skill rather than playing. You can't play Navigation on your opponent's turn. You have to wait until your turn. So waiting 2 turns to activate a card is pretty bad. I guess you could just keep it as discard fodder to get the negate effect, but that just seems terrible, so I don't know about that. Winda's unlimited. It's about time. No one can really Winda stall anymore. Suprex unlimited. Goki's whatever. I think that's totally fine. Oh, wow. Full Metal Foes Fusion is unlimited. This is actually really nice for Metal Foes, having multiple copies of the quick play. Very, very cool. Magician's Rod is actually unlimited. Interesting. Rod and Navigation is now unlimited. Is the skill the best way to play Dark Magician now? Or just going back to the original DM is the way? This is okay. Me, I might take my words back. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Savant Kepler's back. Tuning. Oh, that's right. Tuning got limited for when Stardust was being abused. So that's back. Dark Arm Dragon is unlimited. This card should have never been limited in the first place. Came out of selection. Moray of Greed unlimited. Good unlimited. Good unlimited. This was just a kneecap or a knee-jerk reaction to KC Cup that it did not deserve the limits. Liquid Soldier is unlimited. Okay, well, I don't know about this one. Heroes are kind of annoying, but it's okay. I like unlimits. I like unlimits. Finally, my... Welcome back, Merchant. They did my boy dirty. He never deserved to be in jail. He's finally back, boys. Doom Rider's going in, but they put the Raging Dragon at 1. Aloof Lupine is back. This guy, I feel like this card's been gone forever. It's about time. Kind of a W on Banlist. I'm not going to lie. Kind of a W. I know a lot of people are going to fucking cry and cope the Dark Magician, even though Dark Magician's dookie shit. But, like, these are a lot of cards that should have come out. You know, Moray, Merchant, Lupine... like a Savant, like these cards should, you know, Full Metal Fusion, all these cards should have been out forever ago. There's still some questionable ones like Tamer, but you know, it is what it is. Can't hit them all, right? The big question is Orcus dead? It is going to be very hard to play the Orcus combo, but not impossible. So you may see it survive as something, but I do feel like Speedroid and Orcus have been nerfed enough now where other decks should be able to come on top. And I'm glad they're using the Limit 2 specifically more here. That's been something that has been kind of lacking. It's all been Limit 3, so I'm glad Limit 2 is getting some love here. Very interesting ban list. I think this is one of the biggest ban lists we've gotten in so long. God bless. This makes up for the last shitty ban list that we had. Moving on, we've got the selection box and the structure deck. Let me tell you right now about the structure deck. I don't know if it's good. I've played against Spirit Charmers at full power and Master Duel, and they were really bad. So, you know, based on what I know about this deck, I don't know a whole lot. I'll look into it. If it's good, I'll make a video. Maybe I'll hit COG with it. But as of right now, watch our streams. We're going to host a tournament tomorrow even. So if you're unsure, come there and watch. Hopefully someone plays it. But I do have stuff to say about the selection box because there's no archetypes in there. Well, there's old archetypes in there, but we do, more importantly, have, this is a selection mini, some cards to talk about, specifically Lost Wind. There's a bunch of other stuff in here. I'm not going to talk about everything. There's just 2 cards I really want to talk about because they're going to be the 2 power picks in my opinion, and Lost Wind is the first one. Target one face-up special summon monster on the field. It has its effects negated. Also, its original attack is halved. If a monster is special summoned from your opponent's extra deck while this card's in the grave, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. Very, 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 very strong back row card. Every single deck special summons. Not every single deck does go into the extra deck, but let's be honest, most powerful decks do. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. Having your effects negated is, of course, really fucking good. Yeah, like it's a permanent negate, you know? It's not, you know, negated until the end phase or whatever. Its effects are negated and its attacks is halved. Like, and then it can come back potentially. That's pretty strong. That is pretty strong. And none of this is once per turn or anything. So, yeah, it's you know, it's kind of like a warning point that isn't, you know, you don't have to wait for your opponent to summon. Of course, your opponent can still use that monster as like a material for something, but this is a very powerful card, and definitely will be used at the Limit 3 position. I do want to quickly state that Limit 3 is getting very crowded. There's a lot of Limit 3 traps on there, and I don't know if, like, they're all still very strong. Like, you're not going to unlimit Compulse. You're not going to unlimit Ice Dragon Prison. You're not going to unlimit Crackdown, because then people will just play 3 of those and then a new Limit 3. You know what I mean? So even though Lost Wind and IDP are a little bit stronger than the other back row that are Limit 3, those other back row are still so fucking powerful that you wouldn't, you know, you know what I mean? So Konami either has to introduce some new methods to relieve back row, whether that be new back row removal or unbanning some back row removal, or they're going to have to move some of these to like Limit 2, Limit 1, etc., etc., etc. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it so you only can play, you know, no matter what you get, you can only play 3 of that back row. but you kind of get into this weird spot where it's like, well, you know, everyone's going to want to play Lost Wind or Crackdown or whatever, right? Like whatever card is meta, everyone's going to play that. And if you don't have that, the other just don't feel as good. You know what I mean? So I don't know. They have to figure something out, probably add in more back row removal. I think that's going to be the key. It's not that I hate it, but yeah, they got to do something about it. Tour Guide's in here, so you can get more copies of Tour Guide now. Paywalled, let's go, dude. And then we have Evil Swarm Extinction Knight. Pretty powerful card. Generic rank 4. Once per chain during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase. Your main phase or opponent's battle phase. If your opponent has more total cards in their hand in their side of the field than you do, detach an Xyz material, destroy all other cards in the field. Your opponent takes no further damage this turn. Once per chain. So it can happen multiple times in a turn, just once per chain. So if your opponent starts doing something, right, and then goes into battle phase, and then you destroy the board, and then your opponent somehow rebuilds something, and you can just destroy the board again. So pretty cool card. We'll see how much it gets used. You do have to have a chain for it to be used, so we'll see. We'll see how this ends up being. I think a lot of decks will probably pick up at least one copy of this guy. So there you go. There's some other good cards in here. Pendulum Treasure, Quarter Cards, but I don't know if any of these will necessarily be meta breaking. If it is, this video is already long enough. I'll talk about it later. But yeah, overall, my opinion, good update. If you are willing to spend money on the game, not so great update. If you're free to play, unfortunately, no box, but you do get a pretty hefty unbanned list along with the ban list. So hopefully you've got some old decks in your account that you can play. If you don't, well, at least there's a box coming out this month. That's going to be it from me, boys. Drop by the live stream. We're going to talk more about the ban list. Ban list is applied on the new box right away. New cards are available. They're going to be played. New structure deck, etc., etc. I'll see you there. I'll be live tomorrow. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Peace out. Till then.